When God opens a door, it is never an accident, never a coincidence, and never without intentionality. In the realm of the kingdom, doors are divine mechanisms of movement, not merely gifts of convenience. They are not merely to promote your life, but to propel your purpose. Many cry out for open doors, but fail to understand that in the kingdom, access is always tied to assignment. Heaven doesn't release opportunity unless earth is in need of your obedience. The door that God is preparing to open before you is not being crafted just to give you relief. It is being designed to release your role in a greater plan that is much bigger than your comfort zone. Divine doors are sacred intersections between destiny and responsibility. In the earthly realm, we look at doors as means of escape or entry. But in the spiritual realm, doors are declarations. They declare that it is your season. They declare that preparation has met timing. They declare that your hidden obedience is now colliding with divine exposure. But remember, when heaven opens a door, it is never to impress you, it is to entrust you. Because to be given access in the kingdom is to be handed a weight. A door from God always requires stewardship. You don't walk through it to be seen. You walk through it to be sent. Many celebrate the door, but few understand the demand. The moment you step through what God has opened, you are stepping into a new realm of responsibility, because every divine door carries a divine burden. We must shift our thinking from celebration to preparation. The door you've been praying for is not a destination. It's an invitation to deploy everything God has invested in you. It's not simply a reward for past obedience, it's a requirement for future execution. God does not open doors simply to take you higher. He opens doors to make you useful. He is not trying to elevate your status. He's trying to expand your service. Heaven does not waste access. When God opens a door, He is unlocking your assignment. This is why some doors seem delayed, because you've not yet embraced the weight of what lies behind it. You've been ready for the blessing, but not the building. You've asked for the opportunity, but have not prepared for the obligation. God in His mercy will not open a door just to watch you collapse under the pressure of it. He waits until you are aligned internally before He releases you externally. Because divine doors don't just come with favor, they come with function. You don't just walk in to receive, you walk in to represent. You carry the kingdom wherever you go. And hear this, when God opens a door for you, it's not about you. It's about what He's doing through you. That door is connected to nations. That opportunity is linked to someone else's breakthrough. That position is not about power, it's about purpose. You are being placed where you are, not for applause, but for assignment. That open door is a divine deployment. You are an ambassador, not an employee. A citizen of heaven carrying kingdom solutions into a world full of chaos. The door is not your destination, it is your dispatch. Every divine door is a response to a divine problem. God never releases a vessel unless there's a void. He doesn't elevate people randomly. He lifts them because He intends to use them as platforms of influence and transformation. So when God opens a door, He is saying, I've prepared you for this moment. Now step into the reason you were born. You are not walking through just for you. You are walking through for generations. Your obedience is unlocking legacy. Your yes is creating access for others. The favor on your life is not just for your comfort. It is for kingdom construction. You must understand that in the kingdom, nothing is wasted. Your pain was not wasted. Your waiting was not wasted. Your wilderness was not wasted. All of it was preparation for the door. And the purpose of that door is not just to bring you out, but to take you in, to lead you into dominion leadership and kingdom influence. You didn't survive all you went through just to get a better paycheck or live in a nicer place. You were preserved because the door God is about to open requires someone who's been processed. Because unprocessed people misuse open doors. They think the door is about visibility, but God is saying it's about victory. Victory through purpose, victory through obedience, victory through impact. This is why your perspective must change. Don't just look at what the door brings to you. Ask what it requires from you. Ask what God is trusting you with. Ask what lives are tied to your yes. Because to whom much is given, much is required. This is not just a new chapter. It's a new commission. You are not just crossing into increase. You are stepping into intercession. You are stepping into influence. You are stepping into spiritual responsibility. The door is not the finish line. It is the launching pad. And this is where many miss it. They see the door as a platform for personal greatness, not as an altar for sacrificial purpose. They want the door to serve them instead of asking how they can serve through it. But the kingdom does not function that way. God will never open a door just to elevate your name. He opens it to exalt His own. You are merely the vessel. He is the voice. You are the instrument. He is the author. And if you keep Him at the center of the door, you will not only enter it, you will thrive in it. Because kingdom doors are sustained not by charisma, but by character. Not by talent, but by trust. So now the question is no longer, God, when will you open the door? The question must become, God, am I prepared for the purpose behind the door? Because if you're only praying for the door, but not for the discipline to sustain it, you're asking God to promote you without preparing you. That is not kingdom order. Kingdom order is alignment before assignment, purpose before platform, responsibility before recognition. God is a wise master builder. He never places pillars on sand. He ensures the foundation is set before He reveals the structure. That's why you've been hidden. That's why it felt like nothing was moving. Because He wasn't just preparing the door, He was preparing you. And now, as the door begins to open, remember, this is not the end of the story. It is the beginning of a new phase of purpose. The opening of the door is heaven's signal that it is time. Time for you to release what He put inside you. Time to build what He showed you. Time to speak what He's whispered. Time to stand where others fell. Time to shine not for your own light, but as a reflection of His. Because this door, this God-ordained, divinely timed, strategically placed door, has your name on it, not to decorate your ego, but to demonstrate His excellence through you. When God opens a door, it rarely matches your qualifications, your comfort, or your calculation. It often exceeds your experience, overshadows your preparation, and overwhelms your understanding. Because God, in His wisdom, never aligns destiny with your RA summe. He aligns it with your design. You may not feel ready, but God doesn't choose the ready. He readies the chosen. He doesn't look at what you have. He looks at what He placed in you before the foundations of the world. And so, the doors He opens are intentionally disproportionate to what you think you can handle. Not to embarrass you, but to empower you. Not to expose your weakness, but to invite His strength. This is why divine doors are intimidating. They challenge your logic, stretch your comfort zone, and push you into arenas where your talent is not enough. Because if you could do it in your own strength, you would take the glory. But when the door is bigger than your preparation, you're forced to lean, to depend, to surrender. To walk not by sight, but by faith. The door is not meant to be easy. It's meant to reveal God's sufficiency through your insufficiency. He delights in putting ordinary people in extraordinary positions so that no flesh can boast in His presence. That door God is about to open will scare you. It will make you question your qualifications. It will make you revisit your insecurities. You'll be tempted to ask, why me? But heaven will whisper back, why not you? You weren't chosen because you were ready. You were chosen because you were willing. Because faith is not about being fully equipped before you move. It's about being fully surrendered as you move. The size of the door is not a sign that you're unqualified. It's a sign that God is about to be glorified. He uses the gap between your ability and the assignment to demonstrate His divinity. That gap is holy ground. And you must understand, divine doors do not measure your capacity, they develop it. God is not trying to embarrass your weakness. He's trying to expand your faith. Every time you walk through a door that looks too big, your soul learns how to grow. Your mindset begins to shift. Your dependence deepens. You discover dimensions in you that you didn't know existed. Why? Because God built more into you than you've ever activated. And sometimes He has to open a door that stretches you just to expose the parts of you that have been dormant, hidden, or underdeveloped. You may say, but I'm not qualified. But God says, I qualify you with my presence. You may say, I don't have enough experience. And God replies, I have enough eternity. You may argue, I don't have the resources. And God declares, I am your source. The door doesn't open because you're ready. The door opens because He's ready to reveal Himself through you. You're not walking into that space alone. You're walking in as a carrier of divine purpose, an agent of kingdom influence. What you lack in paper credentials, you possess in spiritual covenant. What you lack in natural training, you make up for in divine calling. So don't shrink at the sight of the door. Don't retreat because it intimidates your preparation. Don't step back just because it challenges your self-perception. Remember, if the door is bigger than you, that's exactly the point. It's not about what you can do. It's about what He can do through you. You are not the architect. You are the instrument. You are not the designer. You are the delivery system. And if He brought you to the door, He will walk you through the door. Because when heaven orchestrates your steps, provision always follows purpose. And this is where trust is tested. Because some of the greatest doors will feel like they're asking more from you than you think you have. But that's because they're calling forth the version of you that's still in seed form. God does not open doors based on who you are today, but based on who you are becoming. That door is a prophecy in wood and hinges. It is a declaration that says, you were born for this. So don't resist it. Rise to it. Don't downsize yourself to fit your past. Stretch yourself to fit your prophecy. That door is a mirror. It reveals whether you trust your ability more than His assignment. It reflects whether you believe in your past more than His promise. And until you stop trying to make the door smaller to match your confidence and start enlarging your faith to match His vision, you will keep circling the same opportunities. God will not change the door. He will change you. Because His desire is not just to open doors for you, but to transform you through them. The door is not a detour. It's destiny disguised as discomfort. You may not be able to see how it will work, but you must trust who is working. He is not looking for your perfection. He is looking for your permission. The moment you say yes, the moment you step toward what intimidates you, is the moment heaven releases grace you've never walked in before. The moment you obey beyond your ability is the moment He empowers beyond your capacity. So get ready. The door God is about to open will not match your past. It will match your prophecy. It will not echo your limitations. It will unlock your legacy. And when you walk through it, you will discover that what was too big for you was never too big for the God within you. He never called you to do it alone. He called you so He could do it with you and through you. For His glory, for His kingdom, and for the generations waiting on the other side of your obedience. The mystery of God's movement is that it rarely comes wrapped in the packaging we expect. When heaven prepares to shift your life, it doesn't always announce itself with lightning or a trumpet. Sometimes the greatest move of God walks in quietly, looking common, sounding familiar, and appearing unimpressive. The door may not shine. It may not stand tall. It may look like a job you didn't want, a person you didn't notice, a task that seemed beneath your gift, or a moment that felt insignificant. But what's behind that ordinary door carries a supernatural weight. God hides destiny in disguise. He conceals greatness behind what the world calls small. This is why discernment is more important than eyesight. Because if you judge the door by how it looks, you will walk away from what was sent to unlock you. The problem with many is that they are so addicted to dramatic signs that they miss divine whispers. They're waiting for a grand entrance, but God sends a humble invitation. The door doesn't look like a miracle, it looks like a mundane responsibility. But when you walk through it, heaven unfolds. When you say yes to what looks small, you enter into what is sovereign. The ordinary becomes the birthplace of the extraordinary. Think of how God has always worked. He sent a deliverer through a basket in a river. He introduced a savior through a baby in a manger. He anointed a king who was left tending sheep. Every major move of God came through something the world would have walked past. That's how the kingdom operates. He wraps the profound in the plain. He conceals power within what looks weak. He hides heaven's agenda in human form. Why? Because God wants to see who's looking with spiritual eyes. The ordinary is His camouflage. The door may not look like it leads to greatness, but it leads to glory if you follow by faith. This is the test of trust. Will you walk through a door you don't understand simply because God put it in your path? Will you honor what doesn't impress you because you sense God's fingerprint on it? That's why many miss their season. They dismiss the opportunity because it doesn't match their expectations. But the open door God places before you may look like routine. It may come in a small conversation, a sudden shift, an uncomfortable invitation. Don't let its simplicity fool you. What's behind it has the power to shift not just your life, but generations. What looks like just another door is the womb of your destiny. We often want to step into the supernatural through supernatural-looking things. But the supernatural is most powerful when it flows through the natural. The miracle is not that the door looks impressive. It's that God chose to hide a generation, changing moment behind something that looked like nothing. Heaven's glory does not need human decoration. The door you're hesitating at, the one that doesn't glitter, may be the one that God has ordained to change the entire trajectory of your lineage. All He asks is obedience. Obedience not to the size of the door, but to the size of His voice. That's why you must stop waiting for dramatic moments and start recognizing divine moments. Stop expecting the door to be grand. Instead, Train your spirit to sense the presence of God in the simple. Because in the kingdom, oil flows through obedience, not through optics. God may send your promotion through the position no one else wanted. He may launch your influence through a platform that looks beneath your level. But if you trust His voice over the appearance, you will walk into a realm far greater than anything you could manufacture. Don't underestimate the power of small beginnings. Don't ignore the assignments that seem insignificant, because what you call small, God calls seed. And seeds carry nations within them. Seeds carry legacy, impact, and purpose. The door may seem like just another step, but that step is a setup for supernatural release. What's behind that unimpressive doorway is the manifestation of everything God has been preparing in the dark. You're not walking into what's next. You're walking into what was always destined, so be careful. Don't let familiarity blind your faith. Don't let the natural rob you of the supernatural. Don't let appearance talk you out of obedience, because that ordinary door is holy ground. That familiar place is the resting place of God's power. That simple yes is the trigger for a supernatural chain reaction. The next chapter of your life may not begin with fireworks. It may begin with faith. It may begin with a moment so simple you almost ignored it. But on the other side is favor, fulfillment, and a future you can't imagine. When heaven opens a door, it may not shine, but it will shift something deep in your spirit. It will call you higher. It will draw you deeper. And when you walk through, you will realize that what looked natural was never natural at all. It was a divine setup. It was the staging ground for a supernatural encounter. The ordinary was just the wrapping. The supernatural was always the gift. In the kingdom, delay is not the enemy of destiny. It is the preparation for it. Just because the door hasn't opened yet doesn't mean God has forgotten you. It doesn't mean you've been disqualified. It simply means that heaven is aligning the right moment for the release. You see, God does not operate by earthly clocks or human calendars. He functions by divine timing, and divine timing is always perfect. He is not slow. He is strategic. While you're counting days, God is measuring depth. While you're watching the door, He's watching your development. What you call delay, God calls divine alignment. The delay is not punishment, it's positioning. God is not holding you back, He's holding you together. Because if He opens the door before you're ready, the blessing can become a burden. What's behind that door requires not just faith but maturity. It doesn't just require anointing, it requires alignment. God is preparing you not just to receive the opportunity, but to carry the weight of what's on the other side. That delay is where your character is being forged, your discernment is being sharpened, and your dependence on Him is being deepened. Don't despise the delay. It's where God hides those He's about to reveal. You must understand that the opening of the door is not about speed. It's about structure. God is building something in you that will not collapse when the pressure comes. The greater the door, the greater the demand. And sometimes the delay is heaven's mercy keeping you from walking into something too soon. If you arrive unprocessed, what was meant to elevate you may destroy you. God will never give you a door that your soul is not strong enough to sustain. So while you're waiting, He's not wasting time. He's working on you. He's strengthening your root before He reveals your fruit. There are things you prayed for that you think you're ready for, but heaven knows better. You may have the gift, but do you have the grace? You may have the talent, but do you have the temperament? You may have the vision, but do you have the values to protect it? That's why God allows the delay, to develop in you what destiny will demand from you. The delay doesn't mean the door is locked. It means the door is sacred. It means heaven is setting the stage for something you can't mishandle. And when the moment comes, it won't be late. It will be right on time. And here's what you must hold on to. While it feels like nothing is happening, everything is happening. While you're wondering when, God is preparing how. He's aligning people, orchestrating timing, setting up circumstances, and maturing your soul. He is a master planner. He sees what you cannot. That's why faith is not just about walking into the door. It's about trusting Him when the door stays closed. Can you still worship when you see no movement? Can you still trust when the door creaks but doesn't open? Can you remain faithful in the hallway, knowing that the God who promised is faithful to perform? Sometimes God keeps the door shut not to punish you but to protect you. Because if He opened it based on your eagerness instead of your readiness, it would crush what you've spent years praying for. God doesn't just open doors. He sustains destinies. And for Him to sustain it, He must make sure that you are sustained. That's why the delay matters. It's where you build the endurance to carry the promise. It's where your motives are purified, your spirit is refined, and your priorities are reset. God is not just preparing the place for you, He's preparing you for the place. And when the time is right, the door will not only open, it will swing wide. You won't have to force it. You won't have to manipulate it. You won't have to beg or hustle. When divine timing and divine preparation align, favor does the opening, grace does the lifting, obedience does the walking, and what once looked like a delay will be revealed as divine synchronization. Heaven's silence was never heaven's absence. It was heaven's strategy, so don't grow weary while you wait. Don't curse the hallway. Don't complain because you're still standing in front of what feels like a closed door. Instead, use the time to grow, to listen, to mature. Let God complete the work in you before He reveals the work through you. Because when that door opens, it won't be a coincidence. It will be confirmation. And when you step through it, you'll realize that the waiting wasn't wasted. It was preparation for a door that was never denied. It was simply delayed for your development, your protection, and His perfect glory. When God opens a door, it is not a suggestion. It is a sovereign decree. It is not a result of negotiations, permissions, or human approval. It is the manifestation of divine authority. When the King of Heaven opens a door for you, it is legally sealed by the power of His word, and no force in hell or on earth can override it. What God ordains cannot be overturned. What He unlocks, no one can relock. This is the confidence you must carry into your next season. If God opened it, it's already settled. You see, people may have opinions, but opinions do not override divine decisions. Systems may have rules, but no system is greater than the sovereign strategy of God. Critics may speak, but their words cannot cancel God's will. Enemies may plot, but no weapon formed against you will prosper when heaven has placed its seal on your door. The door God opens for you is not dependent on popular vote, religious validation, or political permission. It is executed by the King Himself. And when the King opens something, it is open indeed. This is why you don't have to defend your door. You don't have to fight for your future. You don't have to convince anyone to accept what God has already approved. Your assignment is not to force the opening, but to walk in confidence through it. The door may have been hidden, it may have been delayed, it may have required you to endure rejection and misunderstanding. But once it opens with finality. It will not be temporary. It will not be subject to sabotage, because what is sealed in heaven is protected on earth. Don't be afraid of resistance, because resistance doesn't stop what God has started. In fact, resistance is often the proof that something divine is in motion. The enemy does not attack empty doors. He only attacks what he cannot control. If God has opened it, the enemy can't close it. So all he can do is try to distract, delay, or discourage you from stepping into it. But even in his attempts, God uses every opposition to strengthen your resolve. The battle is never about the door. It's about your confidence to walk through it. And that's where many falter. The door is open, but they hesitate because of what people might say, how systems might react, or what resistance might come. But you must stand in the unshakable truth. If God opened it, it's not yours to protect. It's His to preserve. You are not maintaining the door. You are merely stewarding your obedience through it. That door is not held up by your strength, but by His sovereignty. And if He gave it to you, He will guard it, grow it, and glorify Himself through it. Think of Joseph, betrayed, sold, imprisoned, forgotten. But when the divine moment arrived, Pharaoh summoned him, and in a single day, the prison door gave way to a palace throne. No betrayal, no injustice, no forgotten moment could override the door that God had preordained. When it was time, no one could stop it, not even Joseph's past. That is the nature of divine openings. They do not consult history, they fulfill prophecy. And so it shall be with you. When God opens the door, your past can't block it, your enemies can't close it, your failures can't cancel it, and your circumstances can't override it. Because the door is not about your performance, it's about His purpose. It's not held open by your perfection, it's sustained by His promise. That is why you can walk through with boldness. Not arrogance, but authority. Not pride, but purpose. Understand this, the door God opens is not fragile. It does not require you to apologize for it, shrink before it, or question its legitimacy. If God opened it, it is legitimate. It is legal. It is locked in by eternity. No demon, no delay, no denial, no dysfunction can reverse it. The same God who opened it will defend it. The same God who called you into it will walk with you through it. You are not walking in alone. You are walking in under royal decree. And what God opens in your life, He does not just open for you, He opens for His kingdom. Your open door is a part of heaven's unfolding agenda. It is not a personal upgrade, it is a prophetic alignment. He opens it because there is something He wants done on the earth, and you are His vessel. This door is not just about access, it's about assignment. And since it's tied to His purpose, it's backed by His power. So silence the voices of fear. Silence the lies of unworthiness. Silence the threats of resistance. If God opened the door, step in with confidence. Stand tall. Heaven has spoken. The door is open and it will remain open, not by might, not by power, but by the Spirit of the Lord. When God opens a door, He never opens it just for you. He opens it through you. The kingdom is never self-centered. It is always generational, always missional, always multiplying. That door you're about to walk through is not just an answer to your prayers. It's a fulfillment of someone else's. It's not just a promotion for your platform. It's a preparation for your purpose. Because in the kingdom, your breakthrough is never only about your blessing. It's about your becoming. And what you become gives others permission to rise. Your elevation is the ignition for someone else's transformation. You are not the destination. You are the doorway. What God is unlocking in your life is meant to unlock others. He's not just blessing you for comfort. He's positioning you for impact. You are being placed in rooms not so you can be admired, but so that others can be awakened. You are being given influence not to collect followers, but to cultivate freedom in those watching your journey. What you overcome becomes someone else's instruction manual. What you build becomes someone else's shelter. What you carry becomes someone else's covering. That's why the door is bigger than you. That's why the process has taken so long. That's why the pressure has been so intense. Because God isn't just setting a table for you. He's preparing a pathway for many. You're not just being brought out. You're being raised up to become a pattern. You are the evidence that God still opens doors, still rewrites stories, still lifts the forgotten and favors the faithful. You are a living blueprint for those coming behind you. They won't need to wonder if it's possible. They'll look at your life and know that it is. And this is where purpose matures. When you realize that the door is not a reward, but a responsibility. It is not a trophy. It is a tool. You've been asking God to bless you, but He's been preparing to build through you. Your life is an answer to more than your own prayers. It is a ripple that will affect family, community, nation, and generation. God is aligning you not for personal comfort, but for public impact. He's not opening the door just so you can sit in a new room, but so you can create new rooms for others. Don't miss the assignment by misinterpreting the access. The access is not about applause. It's about assignment. The door you're walking through carries weight because it carries others. Your children will walk through it. Your legacy will be built on it. Those who watched you struggle will now witness you serve, not from a place of pride, but from a place of purpose. What you cried for, you will now carry. And what you carry, others will catch. Because you are not just a receiver, you are a releaser. So step through the door with your eyes open, not just to what's in front of you, but to who's coming behind you. This is not just a new chapter for your life. It's the beginning of someone else's book. You are breaking ceilings so others can build foundations. You are tearing down barriers so others can move freely. You are creating momentum in the spirit that will become a movement on the earth. You are a bridge, not a border. A portal, not a pause. You are the evidence that purpose, when surrendered, becomes legacy. And that's why your story matters. That's why your healing matters. That's why your obedience matters. Because every yes you give to God widens the path for someone else. Every sacrifice you make stretches the tent of possibility for others. Every battle you win in secret becomes a victory for others in public. The door is not the finish line. It is the starting point of generational impact. God didn't just bring you here for you. He brought you here for them. For the voices that haven't found words yet. For the dreamers still locked in fear. For the generations unborn that will eat from the trees you planted. So when you walk through the door, walk with humility, but walk with holy fire. Because what's on the other side is not just a blessing, it's a burden to build, to lead to release, and to equip. This is your moment to not just enter, but to open. To not just cross through, but to call others in. To not just celebrate the door, but to become one. The kingdom doesn't need more gatekeepers. It needs gate openers. And God is calling you to be one. This is the kind of door that shifts bloodlines, disrupts cycles, and births nations. It is a generational door, and you are not just a guest. You are the gateway. What begins with you will not end with you. so walk boldly. Others are waiting. Let me now bring this message to a divine conclusion. Hear me today, you were not created to knock forever. You were born to walk through the doors God has already ordained. And the door He is about to open in your life will not just change your situation. It will change your definition. It will mark the transition from obscurity to purpose, from waiting to walking, from potential to performance. This is not just about a new opportunity. It is about the unveiling of your original assignment. The time has come. You've been processed in private because God was preparing you for a public manifestation. Every delay was divine. Every detour was deliberate. Every closed door was a shield. And now, the door that stands before you is not random. It is righteous. It is not man-made. It is kingdom-born. And when God opens it, no man, no system, no devil can shut it. But hear this. This door is not a trophy for your endurance. It is a tool for your execution. It's not the end of the story. It's the beginning of responsibility. God is not elevating you to impress the world. He is positioning you to impact it. You are not stepping into luxury. You are stepping into legacy. Because this door, my friend, is generational. It's prophetic. It's global. It's eternal. And you must not walk through it with timidity. You must not hesitate. You must not ask for permission from those who were never part of your process. Heaven has endorsed you. The King has signed the decree. The angels are already moving. The door is swinging wide. The time is now. So walk boldly, walk faithfully, walk humbly. Because this is not just the opening of a door. It is the activation of your destiny. The world is not waiting for more opinions. It's waiting for manifestations. And you are the manifestation of a divine idea in human form. Step into the door. The next dimension is calling.